Hey everybody, I am Patrick Shaka, Editor-in-Chief of Yachting Magazine. I am here today with Ellen Bradley, Chief Brand Officer for the National Marine Manufacturers Association, also known as the MMMA. And today we're here to talk about a really important topic in boating, and that is sustainability. So good day, Ellen.
Hi, Patrick. Thank you for having me today. And I'm excited to talk about all things sustainability and being on the water.
Yeah, to that end, for people who may not be familiar, could you kind of explain what is the NMA and what is kind of their mission statement?
For sure. So the National Marine Manufacturers Association, we are the largest trade group for the recreational boating industry. Our members are recreational boat manufacturers, recreational marine engine manufacturers, and manufacturers of the accessories and components that go in a boat. So anything on a boat, those are our members. And our mission as a trade association is really to drive the growth and success of the recreational marine industry. And we do that in a lot of ways. One is we ensure people have access to boating, and we work a lot through our government affairs and our advocacy team to support infrastructure. We are constantly looking and supporting innovation across the industry to meet consumer demand and allow manufacturers to build the kinds of products that consumers are seeking. And then we also connect with the consumer directly through boat shows. And they are a significant way that people are able to connect with boat dealers, boat manufacturers, see all the products in one place, and not only get more informed about what's happening in boat manufacturing and in boating, but connect with their community. And that's a small sample. We're also heavily involved in boat safety. Most of you probably see the NMMA certified seal of approval, if you will, on your boats. And you see us at a lot of tables in government and discussions around the country to make sure that the boating industry's voice is part of the conversation where it matters.
You all have a lot going on. And to add to that, one thing boaters, we all enjoy the water and we want to enjoy the water for years to come. We all consider ourselves stewards, of the sea. And to that end, sustainability is a major topic in our industry. And how do we approach it in a smart way? And one of the ways that we do that is through really good data. And so the NMMA has just been involved in a study to help us move forward in a sustainable way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Patrick. I mean, you're a boater, I'm a boater, and we know that inherently the beauty of us being on the water and the experience that brings is fully reliant on healthy, clean water and the ecosystem that surrounds it. And so I think a lot of us identify as natural conservationists in a lot of ways because we want to protect and take care of the natural resources that we're able to enjoy and pass them down to our next generations because it's brought so much joy to our lives. And the recreational boating industry, I know you're familiar with this. We have a really impressive track record of being ahead of making sure that we're doing our part to take care of this ecosystem. And we've made tremendous strides. I mean, just over the last couple decades, the manufacturers have implemented immense efficiencies in the engine technology, in the boat technology, the parts that go on boats. I mean, we've done a lot of work here that has made a significant difference. And we want to be able to continue on that journey. And so a handful of years ago, a number of people in the industry got together to really look at where do we go from here? What does the future look like? And where do we need to be able to continue this work that we've done? We know that the world is increasingly paying attention to how we protect our environment to sustain it for future generations. So this study was really born out of the International Council of Marine Industry Associations. That's another mouthful, trade association, but they are a global marine trade association that really unites the marine industry around the world. And they commissioned a study to get at that data that you're talking about and look at, okay, what if we want to continue to decarbonize the recreational marine industry. What does that need to look like, and where are the greatest opportunities for us? And they looked at 9 different boat types, all 24 meters or less, so 78 feet or under. And what in a summary, what that data revealed is that, and not surprising because this is a theme in our industry, there is no one size fits all solution. And that's normal for recreational boating, because if you look at the different types of boats that we use, fishing boats on small lakes and inland waterways, aluminum fishing boats versus a sport fishing boat versus a wake boat or a wake sport boat versus a pontoon. It's a very different experience in each of those boat types and environments. And so having a single solution isn't going to make sense. And that's how it's always been in our industry, whether it's the type of engine that you use, a jet engine, a stern drive, an inboard, outboard, etc. We've always had a lot of different solutions. So what it did, though, confirm for us is that there is a significant opportunity. What one of the areas that the study looked at was sustainable fuels. And you know that today, there are roughly 12 million boats in use in the United States alone. And if we were to implement sustainable fuels today, we could have up to a 90% reduction in the emissions that exist. So a significant opportunity for our industry. There are other cases too. Hybrid technology we looked at, electric technology, how boats are made so that as they move through the water, the hull design, is that inertia that happens when they move through the water. How do we make that more efficient so that we're using less force and power? So all these different technologies were studied, and what we're looking at right now as an industry is how do we lean into the sustainable fuel space and make sure that not only we're understanding how it works within the technology, but then how are we making sure that consumers can get access to those fuels? And so that's really kind of the next phase for us as an industry. You're going to be hearing a lot more about sustainable fuels in the coming months. And interestingly, a lot of these fuels are going to start to be made available in certain places. And so getting that message out to boaters is going to be another piece of this pie.
So when we talk about sustainable fuels in particular, what are we? Are we talking about vegetable oil? Like we're talking about hydrotreated vegetable oil and like that?
Yes. And the fuels that when we talk about sustainable, yes, they're derived in some ways from corn. And I'm not the technical expert on the fuels themselves, but they are vegetable based, and there are a lot of different types of fuels that are available. One is a diesel. And I don't know if you were at the Miami International Boat Show the last couple of years. I think you were, Patrick, and there were a couple of demos of these different types of fuels, showing how they work in different boat engines and how reliable and efficient they can be, and they perform just like a ice fuel that we use today. And so the challenge, though, is because they're not available in mass quantities today, and that distribution network doesn't exist yet, that the price point is not where we would like it to be as an industry. And so that's another area that we need to overcome, is how do we not only make these available, but in that process, make them available enough at a volume that's high enough that they're affordable for the consumer. And we're certainly going to see a lot of boaters who say, you know what, I'm going to pay the price of that fuel because I know that that's the way that I'm going to make a difference. But it's those early adopters and getting those fuels into the market that's going to start us on this journey of where we need to be. Because once we get these fuels out into the market, we can, as an industry, continue to make some really impressive and significant strides, all the while continuing to really make sure we're not taking we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket, right? We have to continue to study all these other technologies, because that's the beauty of there's no one size fits all solution. We need to promote continued innovation and make sure that we're doing our part to understand where we can continue to go from here. So while we did this study, it doesn't mean that that's the be all end all. We have to continue to really understand how do these different technologies can evolve and perform. What can we do with battery technology to make it more efficient and usable for the marine environment? What can we be doing in the hybrid space? And there are all kinds of other technologies that are going to be coming down the road for all of us that we're going to want to continue to look at.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting takeaways on the HVO fuel is the fact that you don't lose performance. Because one thing that people like to talk about with their boats is a lot. They like to talk about performance, and like, if as long as there's no impact on their performance, and again, all these technologies, whether it's battery or diesel electric or all electric or hydrogen even, they all will can impact the performance to a greater and or lesser degree, depending on how you do your boating. Like if you're all electric and you stay within, say 10, 20 nautical miles of your marina on a Saturday, that might be a solution for you, because you come back in, you're doing 2 or 3 hours, you plug in, and that's solution A. But if you are somebody who is a long range cruiser, that might not work for you right now. However, maybe the HVO fuel will. And we are seeing manufacturers. We just recently actually sea trialed an Azimuth that is an HVO fueled yacht, and they are offering that now. And when we looked at the performance, it performed exactly on par with its diesel counterpart.
Yeah, you're spot on, Patrick. It's all about that use case, right? Kind of what we were talking about earlier, how people use their boats, and then what are the technologies that best support that environment and that experience.
So then we have this great data informing us about the different options depending on the type of boat you have, the type of boating you like to do. So what are the next steps? How do we educate the public to let them know that, these are potential options for you?
When it comes to the boater, one of the ways that the industry has really started to help bring this front and forward facing is at boat shows, whether it was the Miami Boat Show, the New York Boat Show, a lot of events around the country. The boat show events are really trying to educate the consumer on this. DiscoverBoating.com is another resource in helping educate the boater and the boater to be about what these different innovations mean for them in their boat buying journey. What should they be? What questions should they be asking? Where can they access these fuels? And that information is going to continue to meet the consumer and I should say the boater where they are in their journey. A lot more boat dealers are very educated on this as a result of the study. And we've been spending, the more we educate the industry, the better able the industry is then going to be able to educate the boater community.
I think one of the most important takeaways for everybody is that don't panic. Your boating is not changing. Don't worry. It doesn't all have to happen today. But every little thing that we can do to, reduce that carbon footprint just a little bit, you're not going to lose the enjoyment of your boating, right? You're still going to go out. You're still going to have a great time. And you can even feel a little better about it because you know that our kids and our grandkids will be able to enjoy that same pastime that we've been fortunate enough to enjoy.
Right. And you're absolutely right. And I think one of the important takeaways is that the industry remains committed to not sacrificing that experience, but isn't sacrificing their commitment to ongoing protection of that water ecosystem that we were talking about earlier. And so striking that balance is at the forefront of the industry's mind. And as a boater myself, it's really been exciting to see, because not only are we going to be able to continue to have those incredible experiences on the water, but to your point, we're going to know that work is continuing to be done to ensure that we're doing our part.
So for boaters who want to keep tabs on on the development of this technology and how they can be a more responsible boater, where is the best place to do that?
The three things that come to my mind, Patrick, are always talk to your boat dealer as a resource. Where you buy your boat, they're gonna be connected into the manufacturers, into the boating community, and they're gonna have a lot of great information. Boat shows, you're gonna find a lot more seminars, presentations, educational information at boat shows about what's happening in the sustainability space, and discoverboating.com.
Ellen Bradley, Chief Brand Officer for the NMMA. Thank you very much for your time today. It was really insightful, and really thank you again for your time.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much for having me today, and I will see you out on the water.